Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and it's wonderful, as always, to spend some time with you here today. I want to use that time in doing some more with my wonderful PowerMac G3 Blue and White from mid-1999. You've seen the introduction of it when we first booted it up and took a look at it, and you've also seen the first in the series of upgrades. So I'm going to upgrade it some more, and in this installment I intend to deal mostly with the storage. What's in there now is a 40 gigabyte hard drive. That would have been an upgrade done to it previously by a previous owner, since the original hard drive would have been all of 6 gigabytes. That hard drive has got an installation of macOS 9.0.4 on it. I also have a 120 gigabyte hard drive, which I took from my other PowerMac G3 Blue and White. That one a revision A from early 1999. What I want to do is to take the 40 gigabyte hard drive out of there and put it in the other machine, replacing that with an 80 gigabyte hard drive. This happens to have an installation of macOS Leopard on it, which won't run, but that doesn't matter. We'll just wipe it clean and it'll be some additional storage in there. Now, the other thing I intend to do, in my last video, the first of the upgrade videos, I also put in a FireWire 400 USB 2 PCI card, which is powered by Molex. That card has got an internal FireWire 400 port. I want to make use of that. Now, I just happened to notice Newegg earlier this week had a great sale on SSDs. They're kind of an off-brand. Team Group, I've used Team Group before. They seem to work fine. Not this particular branding of Vulcan, although it's a cool little label. It's got this sort of holographic thing that it does. Nice looking thing that's going to sit in the inside. Buried in an enclosure, of course, because we've got to connect it via FireWire. This is an ACOM data. I got this through Amazon. I've already taken the liberty of taking the front screws out, take the faceplate out. And we need, of course, put our SSD in there. It comes with screws, thankfully. Which we can use to secure the SSD . Go. Well, it really doesn't want to go in. And I see the problem. These screws, the holes lined up very, very well. These, not so much. And we're kind of going to be stuck, because that's where it plugs into the SATA connection to get into the FireWire interface. There we go. We got this one anyway. And then finally, we can't get this one in. I may just not worry about that as much. Yeah, it's just on the side there. Well, you know what? I think I shall just fuss with this, get this in there, and we will go directly over to here, where we have, now, put the thing in. Because you don't really need to see me fuss with these screws. So, if you're interested in seeing where this is going to take us, please stay tuned. Alright, the first step in this is going to be a bit of a pain. Here's the SSD, which is plugged in. I'm going to need to remove that. Okay. Didn't really mean to leave that all plugged in, but that's okay. And now, this is the screw here that is securing the caddy down in place. We'll need to unplug Molex. That can be a pain. That came out actually fairly well. Now, need a bigger Phillips. No, we don't. Okay. Okay. That, I believe, is going to require a little liquid wrench. So, I shall apply that, and we will be back once that has had a chance to work its magic. So please, stay tuned. Well, I am here to tell you, that took something. One of the most important tools that I have in my retro computing toolkit is my little can here of liquid wrench. And that makes sense. This is a 21, getting close to 21-and-a-half-year-old computer. That screw would not move. So about 3 hours of soaking it in liquid wrench, and by golly, it moved. Thank heaven for that. All right, so we're good. And need to plug back in the SSD, and I know I'm blocking you. Okay. There we go. And now we need to get the IDE back in. I was talking to my friend Sean at Action Retro, or commenting with him on one of my videos about this equipment that people give us. By golly, if we didn't have things like this adapter, we'd be dead. The only thing we could run would be legacy IDE drives. And who knows how long that's going to work. That's why I'm not going to depend on that thing. But now I can put a new SSD in here, and it's not going to be substantially faster than an IDE drive, but it'll work, and it'll keep working. All right. Now, what will be faster? FireWire 400. We shall put in there, and plug right in there, and that can just sit in place. Yeah, it's loose, but then again, the computer isn't really going to travel upside down. I'm not planning on dumping it on its end. And yes, carefully. Yeah, this is 21, getting close to 21 and a half year old plastic here. You do need to be careful. All right, so we've done that. And now the next step is going to be booting it up and seeing if everything works. So please stay tuned. Well, shall we see what happens as I press the magic button? Oh, the computer's still working. That's a good sign. And we're booting up into OS 10. It must be Tiger, because that's the only... Well, that's right. There's a Leopard. But I don't think it'll boot into that, because it's been booting into Tiger right along. All right. See as the desktop populates. All right, Macintosh HD. That's the 80 gig hard drive, or should be. And we still see the SSD in there. And here we are. This, of course, was totally expected. This SSD was not formatted. All right. Okay, so we'll call it Data FireWire. I may do other things with it before I do that, but let's... Yes, of course, we can erase it. There's nothing on it. Now we'll have to figure out exactly what we're going to do with this. It's 500 gigs of blank space. Absolutely unheard of. But see, that's the cool thing about using FireWire. By using FireWire, you get around the limitation that you find of 128 gigabytes. This is taking its time, isn't it? Maybe because it had never been formatted before. While we're waiting, look at about this Mac with our 350 megahertz PowerPC G3 or upgraded 1 gig of memory. And here in System Profiler, we finished over here. Good. Okay, System Profiler. Let's look under FireWire. And yes, indeed, this string of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 is in fact our FireWire SSD. All right, so this is the added FireWire. Up here we have our original FireWire bus under USB high-speed bus. So we do have, I think it's 3 USB 2 ports, which is really nice. Should be nothing under serial ATA, indeed. Under ATA, we have the Machita CD drive, and we have our Mercury Electra and our 80 gig hard drive. All right, it's all there. Son of a gun. Worked beautifully. Okay, now, where are we going? Because we're going to need to organize the storage, and things are going to be a little bit different. We can see here in this Macintosh hard drive, we've got stuff on it. And actually, if we look in applications, and Time Machine. The fact that there's Time Machine on there shows that this has to be an installation of Leopard. It will not boot into Leopard. My experience generally has been that a FireWire drive is faster than the IDE drives, even though you've got SSD to SSD here. So we may just move those installations and make this the boot drive, and then turn that 120 gig thing into an additional storage drive. One of the things I'd like to try is installing Mac OS 8. This machine originally shipped with 8.6. I think it'd be cool to have 8.6 on there. I don't know how much I'd use it. I think I'd tend to just like have it, then say, oh, isn't that cool? We can boot into the original operating system. I did that with my Mac Pro 1.1, 2006. I installed Tiger on it because that's what it came with. All right. Well, but I think for the moment, we've taken a good step forward with this machine. There are other steps that we will be taking in the near future here. But I think we can wind up this video. Be good to other people. Other people deserve it, and by golly, we all really need it right now. And in that vein, be good to yourselves, because we all really need it, and you've got to start with you. We can make this a better world. Since we are far from a better world right now, take very, very good and careful care. We will be back. We've got 2, 3, who knows, maybe more videos on this very machine, and a bunch of videos on a lot of other things coming up as well. Until that time, this has been Broken Electronics.